Hey everyone, this is MrAddOil again, helping you fight your today for your better tomorrow. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how I turned my coding skills into a hybrid career. First, I knew that I was perfectly content with not finding a software developer job. When I first started my journey, I knew I was going to aim for software development. I built my skills in software development, got those coding skills, and then in my job search of like 2.5 months, I actually applied to like 1,000 jobs. Like 2/3 of them were software developer roles, and of all the roles that I applied for, I actually got 2 offers. But during my job search, I knew I was perfectly content with not finding a software developer job. I worked hard and made it seem like I wanted to get a software developer job, but in the back of my mind, I knew that I was open to a multitude of opportunities. And because I was content with not becoming a software developer, that helped me make choices to not join a coding bootcamp, get into like $20,000, $30,000 worth of debt, and making that decision to not take on that financial risk up front empowered me to taking multiple opportunities in different fields, not limited to just being a software developer. So I was making a career switch from strictly sales. Yes, it was in tech sales. I was doing software sales software as a service, that type of sales, right? But it was still strictly on a sales career path. So I knew I wanted to get out of that, but in order to do so, I need to up my technical skill. So in terms of upping my technical skills, I just committed to the self-taught route, and I just taught myself web development skills and other related tech skills in this web development ecosystem. I knew that learning how to code and having a coding skill set will open the door for me to other careers, right? When I was just doing sales, I was basically stuck in that career path. But now that I've added on a technical skills, specifically coding, web development, it opened doors for me to apply for like sales engineer roles, product management, and other hybrid technical roles. And when I was interviewing, one example was I had this conversation with a CEO at this like infant stage startup, and I actually applied for a software developer internship. And then midway in our conversation, he was like, "Hey, you're not an intern. You have some sort of working experience. You have a business background. Why don't we find you a role that's in between business and engineering?" And I was like, "Oh, aren't you talking about like product management?" And he was like, "Yeah." So that CEO, he eventually gave me an offer for a role that was a product manager and a front-end engineer in one role. And that was really validating, right? Like that opportunity showed me that it was possible for me to accept other opportunities, or that other opportunities wanted me, right? Like I could apply for a product manager role and definitely get that role. So regardless, I kept trucking along with my primary job search of finding a software developer role. So in my daily practice, like I was just gearing up all my skills, all my time, investing in this skill set, right? That would be refreshing my skills or keeping my skills up to date when it comes to front-end technologies like React, Redux, and also building up my computer science fundamentals in data structures and algorithm. And life is just really mysterious at times. Like when you're really looking really hard and working really hard at one direction or one role, in this case it was to find like a software developer role, other opportunities just trickle in and they surprise you. So for the role that I ultimately end up accepting, which was a technical customer success manager, like this opportunity came to me out of the blue. Like I was just doing my work, studying. I was actually working on a technical assignment, and I got a cold call from a recruiter, and then they kind of started the conversation kind of weird. They're like, "Hey, are you looking for an account executive role?" which is basically a sales role. And I was like, no thanks. And I was just about to hang up on that call, and then they're like, "Okay, well, let's talk about that technical customer success manager role that you applied for." And I was super glad that I did not hang up, because we continued that conversation, and then that conversation opened up to like other opportunities as a sales engineer, but she was like, hey, let's try to get you in as a technical customer success manager, and if that doesn't work, we'll pivot you into like a junior sales engineer role. And I was like, sure, let's talk about that. And within that week of that call, I actually had 3 on-site interviews. On Monday, I had an interview for a product manager role, and Wednesday I had an opportunity or on-site for that technical customer success manager role. And then on a Friday of that week, I had an interview for a front-end developer role using Angular. They're all final on-site interview rounds. And honest to God, I did not prepare at all for the technical customer success manager role. Like, I did some sort of preparing, but it was like extremely light compared to the preparation that I did for the other 2 roles, right? So for the PM role, it was at a public company, and I actually I did a lot of company research, prepared a PowerPoint, and then I just did a lot of work. And then the interview process, when I actually did the on-site, was pretty bad. Like, the company didn't show a lot of hospitality to their candidates when they're interviewing, and it was just really awkward and tense during the interview. Like, they were just asking weird questions. They did like probe around the PPT that I created, but then it was just a really offsetting experience. And for the front end developer role, it was a pretty cool experience. Like, I had to build an Angular project, which I never touched Angular before, and I had to do that. And then the on-site was just like reviewing how I created the Angular app based on their specs. And even for the front-end developer role, like, the on-site was kind of awkward. Like, this was, like, I'm guessing for the first time trying this type of like interview layout, and it was kind of awkward for them. Like, they didn't know what to expect. The formatting and everything was kind of weird, and then it was also not a great experience. But for the technical customer success manager role, like, the interview experience was much better than at that public tech company that I applied for or had an on-site for on that Monday, and the front-end developer role that I had on that Friday. So on that Wednesday, I went and I had like 5 rounds, but then they were really smooth. Everything just fit, and then like it was just mutually enjoyable for both parties. So in quick summary, I took that job, right? I took that role as a technical customer success manager, and it was a really great decision. It was a really great decision because that one role had elements of all the roles that I applied for or had on-sites for during that week, right? There's some sort of project management, product management aspect to that role. There's a customer-facing aspect, which is like renewals, the sales aspect, which I already had. And there was a front-end aspect, which was building proof of concepts for customers, potential customers or existing customers, using JavaScript, React, and then pulling business intelligence data using SQL. So it's a really fun role, and personally, I think it's a great fit for the diverse type of skill sets that I have as a person. So some quick stats from this overall journey that I went on, right? So it was the story of a self-taught developer who started to learn how to code in mid 2017 all the way up to now. And in terms of costs, I only spent about, I think, well, adding up the 2 years, within that 2019, I spent less than 4,000 probably. But adding up the expense from like the 2 years, including Udemy courses and everything, it's still probably under like 7,000, 8,000. And then for that cost, I was able to get, a hybrid technical role that's not an entry-level role. And then from that experience, I was able to more than double my annual income from my previous career. So the moral of the story, just keep your options open, right? Try to position yourself where you don't have to put so much upfront and you can maximize your ROI. So I didn't invest that much in this career switch. Well, sort of, like I quit my job and all that stuff, but all of that was calculated. Like I had emergency fund, I planned this all out, and then I knew based on where I started out from and where I wanted to end, how the middle was going to look like. In the middle, I knew that I was not caught up on the ego of having to have a software developer job. And then that opened many doors for me. And hopefully from this experience, this can help you, from my experience, this can help you with your job search when you're trying to switch careers, either successfully into a software developer role, or like me, into a more hybrid role that has, you know, the software developer or software development flavor embedded inside that role. Again, this is MrAddOil helping you fight your today for your better tomorrow. And if you like this video, please share, like, subscribe, and stay in tune for future content.